All right, let's get started with section 1-1, which starts on page 92 of your textbook, and this is hourly pay. This is probably something a lot of you are already familiar with, and it's probably the most intuitive way to get paid, because basically you're getting an amount of money for every hour that you work, and it's just as simple as that. What your operant vocabulary words are for this chapter is going to be hourly rate, and I think you probably already know that. That's just the amount of money. So for instance, when we're looking up here, in the textbook, if you made $7.50 an hour, $7.50 is your hourly rate. You multiply your hourly rate times how many hours that you've worked in a week, and that is your straight time pay. We're going to talk about overtime pay and other ways of getting paid later on in this chapter, but for now we're just going to talk about simple straight time pay. So the tricky parts, really, if there are any, is when you work a fraction of an hour. I'll show you what I mean right now. Here is an example down at the bottom of the page, and follow along with me in your book. And I'm going to talk about Shauna. She's a mail clerk. She earns $8.40 an hour, and last week she worked 40 hours, and this week she worked 39.5 hours. What is her straight time pay for each week? Let's just jump right to next week. So this week she worked for $8.40 an hour, 39.5. How did we get that? People are going to look at their calculator and they're going to say, well, I don't have a half button. Well, this is going to be a real simple review for most of you guys, and I apologize, but I don't want to assume anything, so let's just take a look at this. I'm going to take the $8.40, and I'm going to multiply that by 39.5. Now let's take a look at this 1/2 and remember what our decimal equivalents are. The ones that we're going to really see when we talk about straight time pay is most places where you work will round to the nearest quarter hour. So you're going to usually look at them and right over here. You're going to either have a quarter hour, a half hour, 3/4 of an hour, and that's pretty much it. So if I looked at a clock, with this being 12, you have a quarter hour, a half hour, 3/4 an hour, and then a full hour. 1/4 equals 0.25, just like in money, right? A quarter is 0.25. 1/2, the decimal equivalent 1/2 is 0.5. And 3/4, just like if you had 3/4, that is 7.75. So just remember your decimal equivalents. These are really simple ones, and you'll have no problem with these. So we got to rewrite this problem, and I'm going to rewrite this $8.40 times 39.5, and I'll pull out my calculator and do this, and I'll know that I got $331.80. Sorry about that, 80 cents. A little bit messy there, but that's how we're going to do that. Let's take a look at one more, and then I'll set you loose on your homework. And don't fast forward through the tape, because some of these do throw you a couple snags. I want to point out number 8. Let's look at Vadola. She, I'm assuming it's a girl, makes a fairly good hourly wage. She earns 26.67 cents an hour. $26.67. That's very atypical for how somebody would get paid, but that's not a problem. And she worked hours worked 25.625. Now that's really strange too, the way they've written this. I would assume that these numbers had come off of like some kind of computerized system or something, because you usually don't see any kind of hours worked like that. Because this wouldn't be like 62. This would be 62 minutes. This is like just over a half of an hour. Be that as it may, let's take a look at this, and I want to do this one so I can talk about rounding. Okay. So 26.675. Am I on the camera here? multiply that by 25.625, and that is going to equal, grab my calculator, can you see this? 26.675 multiplied by 25.625. That's going to equal 683.546. Okay. Let's remember how to round, okay? Because we can't pay people. We can't write a paycheck for a fraction of a penny. It just don't work. So anytime you round, you identify which place that you want to round to first. That's step one. So I want to round to the nearest cents. Remember, anything to the right of the decimal points, we got tenths, hundredths, thousands. Well, we want to round to the hundredths place because we want to round to the nearest penny. So anytime that you want to round, this is a big review for everybody, but I want to make sure you really get this, because if you type in the wrong numbers in homework, it's not going to take it and you're going to be slowed down. So make sure you understand. I want to take a look at what place that I want to round to, and then I look at the number immediately to the right. If the number immediately to the right is 5 or more, I add 1 here. So I want to round to the hundredths place. I look to the right, 5 or more. Yes, it is. So I'm going to add 1 here. So this is going to be 383.55. Got it? 683.55. So what did we do? We remembered how to do decimal conversions from the simplest fractions to decimals, and we learned how to round, and now we should be able to easily do section 1-1 homework. This is a great way to start base understanding of gross pay, and we're going to build on from here. Go ahead and move on to your homework, and we'll see you in section 1-2.